What would you say if I told you that with one piece of technology, you can actually decorate a variety of garments and substrates ranging from t-shirts to tote bags, mugs, even wood and metal? In fact, I'm talking about a piece of apparel decoration technology that a lot of decorators have probably heard of and at some point in their career have used in their apparel decoration shop, and that is heat presses. While heat presses in many ways can be considered the Swiss Army knife of the custom apparel world, many first-time decorators actually overlook this piece of technology when they're first starting out. So in today's video, I'll be showing you the myriad of ways that you can make money using a heat press. I'll show you how a heat press works and take you through the different apparel decoration methods that actually use a heat press. I will also break down each method in terms of their cost and labor and rank them in that order so you can decide what's right for your business. Now, before we get into today's topic, if you're new to this channel, my name is Henry Ma. I'm the CEO of Ricoma, and we've helped thousands of apparel decorators start and grow their custom apparel businesses. If you enjoy content just like this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you keep up to date with future videos as soon as they are released. Now, even though heat presses are widely used through the custom apparel industry, let's first give a quick overview for those that are unfamiliar with this technology and how heat presses actually work. Heat presses are pieces of equipment that are used to imprint different designs onto garments or substrates using a combination of heat and pressure at the same time for a preset amount of time. There are a variety of heat presses to choose from. Each one serves a particular purpose in decorating a particular substrate. Standard flat heat presses can transfer designs onto flat surfaces like t-shirts, totes, jackets, etc. Other more specialty heat presses can transfer designs onto a variety of surfaces like caps, mugs, water bottles, decorative plates, and much more. This makes heat presses a very versatile piece of technology because of the fact that you can decorate onto a variety of substrates and you're only limited in your decorating potential by what you can fit under your heat press. In fact, we've done a video on this channel showing how to decorate a face mask using a cap heat press, and if you're interested to check out how that process is done, I've put that video in the card above and in the links below so you can check them out later. All right, now let's look at some of the different ways you can decorate garments using a heat press. Before I do that, however, I just want to reiterate that this is not a ranking of the best decorating methods using a heat press. I'm simply ranking these in terms of cost and labor, starting from those that are least costly and easiest to do to those that are more costly but might be more profitable. The quote-unquote best apparel decoration method is always going to be that method that's going to line up the most with your budget and your specific needs. With all that being said, let's start by first looking at the most cost-effective and easiest method to do with a heat press, the buy, press, and go method. What I mean by the buy, press, and go method is when decorators purchase designs that have already been printed and applied to transfer sheets. So they simply buy these pre-transferred designs and press them onto their garments using a heat press and then sell them. This is an ideal decorating method for those that are just starting out and have a limited budget because all you would need is a heat press to start this way. This process doesn't require you to create your own designs or even print your own designs because all of that is done for you. You're simply buying pre-printed designs to then transfer onto garments. Now, obviously, with every single process or method, there are some pros and cons to consider. For this buy, press, and go method, the pro should be quite obvious in that you don't need too much to get started in terms of equipment, and it doesn't require you to do any artistic work to get the designs printed. In addition, because you are buying pre-printed designs and then just transferring them onto garments, you are essentially limiting the variety of selection that your customers might have, and that might lower your monthly expenses in terms of having all of these different designs in stock or having to cater to many different needs. Not to mention, you'll definitely save serious money up front in terms of supplies and equipment. On the flip side, while you're saving upfront money on supplies and equipment, you might have higher ongoing costs per print. Since you have to purchase these pre-printed designs from someone and they need to make a margin, that cost can add up relatively quickly. On top of that, shipping costs can get quite expensive, especially if you're getting these multiple designs shipped to you that are pre-printed. In order to save on shipping costs, you might have to order multiple designs at once so that they get shipped in bulk. Lastly, your designs will be limited to what's available online, meaning you cannot customize on behalf of your customers. Garments made using this buy, press, and go method are best suited to be sold on online platforms such as Etsy or Shopify because customers can simply browse a variety of designs that are on your website and choose what they want to buy for their apparel. By the way, if you're interested to learn some tips on how to sell effectively on Etsy, make sure to check out this video I put in the card above and down in the links below. All right, lastly, you guys are probably wondering what are the numbers and profit margins for this buy, press, and go method. So I'll kind of break down for you you line by line what it will cost you to achieve a specific print. For example, let's start with the cost of the printed design. That will typically range between $2 to $5 depending on where you're getting it from. Next, the cost of the blank t-shirt, typically about $3 to $4 depending on the quality of the shirt, which brings your total project cost to about $5 to $8 per print. On the back end, you can probably sell this t-shirt for about $15 to $20 given it's not a custom design and it's pre-printed stock design from your online store. So that equates to a profit potential per print of about $10 to $12. Now that profit potential is definitely on the lower end compared to some of the other decorating methods that I'll cover later on in this video. But that is because you are gaining the convenience and ease of use as well as saving a lot of upfront cost in supplies and equipment since you only need a heat press to get started. All right, now let's move on to our second decorating method, which is ordering pre-printed custom designs. Now this method is slightly different from the previous one of buy, press, and go in that you are now creating custom designs for your customers. In this method, you'll either be outsourcing that custom design to a designer or you'll be using your customer's artwork and then ordering the heat transfers yourself. If your client is providing you with the design that they want you to print, the hard part is already done for you. At that point, you can simply contact a vendor that provides the service of pre-printing designs onto transfer sheets, and you can use your customer's artwork that was provided to you. In this case, the profit potential will be virtually the same as the buy, press, and go method because you are simply taking your customer's design instead of choosing from an online stock portfolio of designs. However, because you're providing a custom design for your customer, you might be able to sell the actual t-shirt for more on the back end, maybe around $20 to $25 per t-shirt instead of $15 to $20. If your client wants something custom made in terms of their design and you don't have the necessary artwork experience, you might have to outsource that to a designer to get it done. This might cost you anywhere between $30 to $40 in terms of design fees, and you might consider adding that cost as an artwork or setup fee to your customer. All right, so one of the pros of this method is that it's very ideal for large volume and bulk orders of the same design. This is because you only need to do the design setup once and use that design across all of these different prints. Obviously, this also adds an additional benefit to your customers because now they're able to create custom designs with you instead of picking from stock designs on your website. However, there are some risks and drawbacks that you might want to consider. For example, there is an added layer of back and forth given now it's a custom design, and you might have to communicate that with your customer or with an outsourced designer so that you can get the right design for your customer. That communication takes time and effort, so obviously you want to make sure that you're compensated for that time, which is why I recommend getting a setup fee or artwork fee of some sort so you get compensated for the time you're spending. Additionally, you want to be very clear and set expectations with your customer in how many revisions they can have with your custom design. This is because designers usually charge an extra fee if it passes a certain number of revisions, and you want to make sure that you're covered and not eating that cost if your customer decides to make a lot of changes. All right, the last and final apparel decorating method that I'll cover using a heat press is heat transfer vinyl, also known as HTV. Heat transfer vinyl is when you cut out a piece of design using a vinyl cutter and then using a heat press able to transfer that design onto a substrate. Heat transfer vinyl is also a very simple and cost-effective method to get started using a heat press. With options to print on a variety of substrates including wood, metal, ceramic, and much more, you'll be able to offer a variety of options to your customers. Combine that with the low cost of supplies and materials, and you'll likely see pretty hefty profit margins for this method. And what's more, because you'll have a vinyl cutter and a heat press and you're cutting out the designs yourself, you'll be able to create custom designs that you can sell more for on the back end. All right, one of the first pros of heat transfer vinyl is its low cost of entry, as well as the fact that it's very easy to learn. To get started with heat transfer vinyl, you need a vinyl cutter, which will only cost a couple of $100s to get started on the lower end, or to the higher end of about $1,000 for a larger vinyl cutter. Then you need to add on the heat press, which also costs a couple $100s, putting your all-in cost around $1,000 to $2,000. Beyond that, all you really need in terms of supplies is different vinyl rolls to provide those different colors and options to your clients. And these vinyl rolls are relatively inexpensive. You can find them on Amazon for anywhere between $12 to $15, and that cost is spread over many different prints. At the end of the day, your blank t-shirt will cost the same, around $3 to $4, depending on the quality of the shirt, and your cost per vinyl print will probably be around 50 cents per print. This puts your all-in cost per t-shirt probably under $5 per print, and you're able to sell that for about $20 on the back end. So as you can see, even though you need to invest a little more in upfront equipment and supplies, you're making more profit potential per t-shirt in the long run and making up for that initial investment. Heat transfer vinyl is also very ideal for small batch orders with simple one-color designs. Now moving on to some of the cons and considerations. Obviously with a heat transfer vinyl, it's going to be a little bit more involved than just buying heat transfers and pressing them onto t-shirts. You're gonna have to take the time to learn the software and how to use the vinyl cutter to cut your designs, and then take the time to weed it. Now for those of you that don't know what weeding is a process that's very particular to heat transfer vinyl. It's basically a process where you're separating out your actual design on the vinyl sheet from the areas that you're not using. And depending on the complexity of your design, that can get very tricky around the lettering or small intricate design corners, and that will take time to weed. All of this will add to your production time because each and every heat transfer vinyl design will need to be weeded before they can be transferred onto the garment. However, even though heat transfer vinyl might be a little bit more labor intensive, you are actually retaining all of that process in-house by not outsourcing the design printing process to someone else. That way you can have more control of your time, of your schedule, and not have to rely on a third-party vendor to get your designs in time to be printed or transferred onto your t-shirts. And the higher profit potential definitely compensates you for the added involvement needed on heat transfer vinyl. All right, if all that sounds good to you and you're interested to get started with heat transfer vinyl, make sure to check out the packages that we offer here at Ricoma, where we offer a vinyl cutter along with heat presses and all the supplies and software for you to get started. I've put the information to that in the card above and in the links below so you can check them out later. All right, so there you have it. I've given you 3 distinct apparel decoration methods that use a heat press in this video. Each of these phenomenal decorating methods using a heat press comes with their own unique cost and benefits. However, when done correctly, each one of them can be leveraged to turn a healthy profit. If you're tight on a budget and you just want to get started in the apparel decoration industry by using a heat press, you can go with the buy, press, and go method that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, whereby you're very hands-off in the design printing process and you're simply buying pre-printed transfer sheets to transfer onto garments. If you want to take that a step further and offer custom designs instead of just stock designs to your customers, you can outsource your design to a third-party designer or learn the skills to design artwork yourself so you can offer that service to your clients. Just always remember to make sure to charge that artwork or setup fee in this process because that design is indeed custom and not a stock design that your customer just chooses. Finally, if you want to really dig in using a heat press and want to have more control of the process, heat transfer vinyl is actually the most cost-effective and probably easiest to learn out of all the heat transfer methods out there. You would need to invest a little bit more upfront in the equipment cost because you need a vinyl cutter and spend some time learning how to use the cutter itself. However, you're rewarded with higher profit margins and you have more control over the entire decorating process because you're doing it in-house. Just remember that this method is a little bit more labor intensive, so do take that into account in pricing your items effectively so that you're compensated for your time. All right, you guys, if you found this information helpful, make sure to smash that like button, give this video a thumbs up, or share it to someone that might find this video helpful. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you keep up to date with latest videos as soon as they come out. Also, let me know in the comments below if you found this information helpful because I actually have 3 more apparel decorating methods using a heat press that I want to share with you guys. If I get enough comments about that, I might do a future episode just on that. If you're interested to get started with any of the heat presses that we offer here at Ricoma in your apparel decoration journey, make sure to check them out at shop.ricoma.com. I put that in the card above and in the links below. We have a variety of heat presses to choose from, ranging from cap, plate, mug, and even flat heat presses to suit any needs. Last but not least, make sure to follow us on all of our social channels down below. We're very active on Instagram and on TikTok for some entertaining content. And before I forget, if you haven't already done so, make sure to join our free Facebook group, Embroidery and Custom Apparel Mastery, where there's now over 30,000 apparel decorators in there sharing their tips and tricks of the industry. All right, that's it for us for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.